Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Coaching, Letting Go of Inferiority and Taking Back Your Power, today at queenbeing.com. Hello, my name is Angela Atkinson, and I'm a certified life coach as well as a narcissistic abuse survivor. Today, we're going to talk about how to let go of feelings of inferiority and embrace our personal power as we work to heal ourselves from the emotional and mental abuse we have suffered in toxic relationships. If you're dealing with a narcissist, or if you've dealt one in the past in a relationship, chances are that you are struggling with something really personal, your self-esteem, your self-worth, maybe your general perception of your own value as a person, and you might even be suffering from just a bit of an inferiority complex. But starting today, that's over. You are about to learn exactly what to do to stop feeling like a victim and start acting like someone who deserves to be happy, because, my friend, you do. You are a survivor, and I am going to help you become a thriver. See, we're all inferior to others in some way or another. I mean, everybody's different. However, there's a difference between not having the talents and skills that you want and holding the belief that you're just fundamentally flawed. So how do you develop an inferiority complex? And what's the solution to get rid of it? Well, when you getting an inferiority complex in the first place actually requires kind of a lot of effort. But, it's not easy to take a couple of perceived shortcomings and convince yourself that you're totally incapable and ineffective, right? So I guess give yourself credit for that. But even though, it might take effort and energy to develop that complex, as humans, we are quite capable of limiting ourselves in this way, as you already know. So the good news is that you can reverse the process, but how do you do that? And how do you overcome such an ingrained tendency to put yourself down, especially after this type of abuse in a relationship? Well, let's start here. Okay. So I'm going to give you some strategies that are going to help you to conquer the inferiority complex. Your confidence will soar, and my friend, you will be taking back your power. Are you ready? Let's do it. All right, so the first thing you need to do is avoid generalizing stuff. So maybe it's true that, or you think it's true that you're short or you're fat or you're messy. It's not that I'm talking about myself or anything. But anyway, nevertheless, that really doesn't suggest that you are not smart or that you don't have a good sense of humor, right? So I guess my point is that you want to start to focus on the things that you love about yourself, not the things you want to change. So you've got to change your perception. Now, it's pretty common for people to struggle with that kind of focus when they've been through narcissistic abuse. So I get it if you're there, and that's why I'm putting together this little exercise for you to maybe help you to get through it a little bit. Okay? So the first thing you need to do, like I said, the first thing you're going to do in this exercise is just figure out exactly what it is that makes you feel bad about you. So start by making a list of characteristics that you think are, make you feel inferior. Okay, so I want you to ask yourself, after you've done your list, ask yourself this: who do you feel inferior to? Is it people who are successful? Is it some coworker that's rocking the house? Or is it maybe your narcissist new supply, new girlfriend, new boyfriend? In what ways do you think that those people that make you feel inferior are better than you? Be honest with yourself. Nobody's going to see this but you. Okay. The second thing you need to ask yourself is, first thing you need to know, I guess, the second thing you need to know is that you need to know that inferiority complexes do arise from wanting to be like someone else. I mean, that's pretty basic stuff, right? So, if your name is, if you're unique. So if Alice is your rival, you're never going to be a better Alice than Alice is, right? You're only going to be the best you. So don't try. You cannot become someone else while being yourself. You have to be focused on what is right, what feels right for you personally. And a lot of times when you've been through narcissistic abuse, you don't really even know what that is. But we do have a lot of resources for that over at queenbeing.com if you would like to take a look at that. All right. The next thing that you need to consider then is, that, like I said, you can't be anyone but yourself. Your delicious self, okay? So what does that mean? Well, the truth is that as soon as you try to become someone you're not, you're sending yourself the message that you're just not good enough, that you are not exactly what you're supposed to be. Okay. So that's just not the case. And if you're giving yourself that message, that's all you're going to see and feel. Okay. The next thing is that you need to be dreamy but realistic. So what do I mean by that? Well, it's pretty common to fall into the trap of believing that one thing that you think is wrong with you is causing all of your problems. So avoid, all or nothing thinking, right? It's very dangerous stuff. So, your life isn't going to magically improve in every way just because you find a new guy to date, or you lose 20 pounds, or you buy those $700 boots you've been eyeing. But at the same time, don't be so realistic that you put yourself into a state of not being able to receive the good things in your life. Okay, so here's an example of this. About 5 years ago, I managed to lose 100 pounds, and I've kept it off since. And yeah, sure, there was this big part of me that thought, oh my God, when I lose 100 pounds, everything's going to be perfect. There's going to be nothing wrong in my life. But you know what? That's just not how it works. And, you still have to do the work, whether you get that one positive change or not. It's not going to just get automatically better. You have to still figure out what's going on inside your head if you're actually going to find happiness. I mean, you might find temporary happiness, but if you're going to find real fulfillment, true happiness, true peace, you have to change your perception. You have to be able to dream, but don't put yourself in a position of believing that that one simple change can change everything. Okay? Moving on. All right. So the next thing you need to focus on is, what is it that you need to stop feeling inferior? So is overcoming the flaw that concerns you actually under your control? If you're an adult and you're not likely to get, any taller, you're probably not going to want to focus on, wishing you were taller. But you can then increase maybe how much money you make, or improve your social skills. And that can maybe help you to feel more confident in yourself. Personally, I'm only 5 feet tall, and I think it's totally cool. But, we all have our choices, our things to live with. Anyway, so imagine that you have a new, what new characteristic you want. Here's another part of the exercise for you, okay? So let's just say that you want to be, let's say, a writer, okay? Because I'm a writer, it's easy for me to think about things like that. Let's say you want to be a writer. Now, if you want to, whatever it is you want to be, does it feel natural to you? Does it feel like you're pretending to be someone else? And this is something that is very common, that sort of imposter syndrome among victims of narcissism and narcissistic abuse, because we are told for so long that we are not real, and the things we don't, that we think and feel are not believable, or not true. Excuse me. So you need to redefine and clarify your vision until you actually feel comfortable with it. And that may take some time, and you may have to sort of quote unquote fake it until you make it, but give it time, be focused on it. It's going to be okay, and you will get it. You just need to start remembering that you are real and you have value, and your ideas and your thoughts and your feelings are real and have value. It's going to get better. All right, number 5, have a friend write down a list of your best qualities. So, obviously, at this point, you probably, your opinion of yourself may not be entirely accurate. Let's put it that way, okay? But someone who loves you, a good friend, someone that you trust, they might be able to point out some things that you really, that maybe you didn't know about yourself. And if you don't believe them when they list your strengths, you can ask for examples. Of course, it's hard to be accurate when you're judging yourself. Now, depending on your particular situation, you may not have a very close friend that you have access to. And if that's the case, I would suggest that you join our SPAN Narcissism Support Group on Facebook. You can find the link to that at queenbeing.com, as well as narcissismsupportcoach.com, or you can just search Facebook for SPAN, S-P-A-N, Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Support. Excuse me. SPAN stands for Support for People Affected by Narcissistic Abuse in Relationships. Okay. Number 6, control your self-talk. So the low self-esteem and pessimism that are rampant in the inferiority complex are often affected by the words that you're saying to yourself. What are you saying? What are you talking to yourself about? What are you saying in your head about yourself? You can say the things that are supporting the belief that you are inferior, or you can be your own best cheerleader. It's totally your choice. You have to monitor your self-talk, and you have to keep it positive. So try saying the opposite to yourself, than what you said before. So if you first tend to think I can't do anything right, you might start change that to I can do anything I set my mind to. It's kind of a conscious effort that you use to intentionally change your thoughts. And when you can do that, you can really begin to create serious positive change in your life. Okay, so number 7 is going to be focus on your victories. Now, there are many things that you can successfully accomplish each day, and most of those are, small, right? But getting to work on time, remembering your friend's birthday, those things are still worth, being proud of yourself for. So, maybe your victories aren't significant, but you should still give yourself a pat on the back for everything you do well every day. It's not going to be easy to always get through every day successfully, but you really are doing a lot better than you think. And when you take the time to notice that, it can just significantly change your outlook on everything. Okay, number 8. Realize that others aren't focusing on your shortcomings. So inferiority is rooted in the idea that others don't think very much of you. They think very little of you. But the truth is, most people aren't thinking about you at all. And that sounds kind of harsh, but it's the truth. And so maybe if you let go of the feeling that everyone's judging you, you would realize that probably not very many people actually are judging you. You have to remember that it is easy to prove to yourself because you go to the mall, visit some stores, act a little crazy in each store and, see what happens. I mean, limp around. Does anyone speak to you? Does anyone even look at you? Stutter. Does that work? I mean, no, no one's going to react. I mean, the point is, whether you do this exercise or not, the point is that most people aren't even aware of you because they're focused on their own stuff at their own time. And those little high school kids who are, they don't last long, right? Okay. So like I said, everyone else is too busy with their own issues to concern themselves with yours. And you really are much freer than you realize. Okay. So feeling inferior in some ways is common, and maybe it's even accurate, like I said, because you know what? There are people who are taller than me, and there are people who, have bigger boobs than me and whatever else, right? But you're not inferior in a way that limits your life unless you allow your imagination to get the best of you. I mean, I could sit around and really stress about that myself, but what's the point? It just makes me miserable, and I don't like that feeling. So focus on your strengths, control your self-talk, and understand that no one is watching. Letting go of that inferiority complex that you have developed is really going to bring you joy, and it's really going to give you this new sense of freedom and confidence that you just haven't had before, or at least in years. So it's something to really consider, okay? All right. So if you are dealing with recovering from narcissistic abuse in a toxic relationship, you might really like to read one of my books, which you can find at booksangieWrote.com. You can also get free resources, tools, and support for narcissistic abuse recovery at queenbeing.com. And of course, get personalized one-on-one and group coaching for recovery at narcissismsupportcoach.com. One particular book sticks out in my head and that I think you might enjoy if you've watched this video, and that's called Take Back Your Power, How to End People-Pleasing, Stop Letting Life Happen to You, and Start Getting What You Want. And you can get that at booksangieWrote.com, which is also at amazon.com. And that's, again, Take Back Your Power. All right? And so if you've experienced this kind of pain in the past, or if you're struggling with it a little bit right now because of a current or previous relationship with a narcissist, I would love it if you would take a moment to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below, as well as any tips that have worked for you personally, because you never know who you can help, and this is all about community and supporting each other. So I'd really appreciate it. Now, if you have questions or comments or things you want to talk about, please leave me a comment here or email me at angieatkinson.com. And again, check out queenbeing.com for additional free resources, tips, and tools on recovering from a narcissistic abusive situation in a relationship. Thank you, and have a great day.